Hi, George Vincent here from the inspirational film Heavenly Deposit, based on true events about how God came into my life and gave me hope at a time when everything seemed hopeless. It's truly relevant in today's day and age. If you haven't seen the trailer or would like to learn more, visit heavenlydeposit.com or click the link in the notes below. God has had his hand on our film from the very start. I just want to preface that before we started working on the film, we prayed and asked God to guide us and to help us to make decisions, to open the right doors for us, to keep the wrong ones shut. And believe me, he did. All right, so let's jump into today's episode. So we were looking for a named actor for this role. And I was using IMDb. I was putting in all the parameters, for instance, age range and IMDb scoring. And the lower the score, the better. But at the same time, the more expensive the rate. So I hit search. Instantly, a whole slew of actors came back. I started clicking through and looking at their names and their photos and all their background. Well, when I got to John Savage and I clicked on his photo, his face lit up. And I was sitting there going, oh boy. Now I know this is a God moment. I had a solid feeling. But then automatically, these negative thoughts started running through my head. And I remember just looking up and saying, John Savage. I go, how can we afford John? And I stopped. And I said to myself, all right, God, if this is from you, we'll find out soon enough. So I looked up his manager. I gave him a call. I introduced myself. I said, hi, my name is George Vincent. He stops me and he says, oh, hi, George. I know who you are. My wife and I have been following your career since New York. That's when I knew this was God's handiwork. He was all over this. So I sent him the script. I sent him the specific sides. And then I also sent over the rate that I'm willing to pay. And about an hour passed and I got a phone call from the manager. And he said, George, he goes, I can't send this over to John. And I said, why not? And he says, you got to bump up the rate. And I said to him, listen, I'll do what I can, but please send this over to John. Let him turn me down. 3 days later, I'm in this room and I get a phone call from him. Now, I'll never forget his words. He says, Savage is in. And I remember I just lifted off the ground. I was so excited. We got John Savage in our film. Here's a clip from the film. Let's roll it.
Does that pain ever go away?
A good friend of mine, she told me losing someone that she loves was like losing a finger. You could still use your hand, but you'd always miss that finger. Is there anyone else who'd like to share?
Working with John was truly incredible. But what was even more incredible was what I learned. When you say you trust God, trust God. There'll be moments where negative thoughts run through your head like they did with me. Ignore them. Listen to the Holy Spirit. Obey the Holy Spirit. And you will find that what you thought was impossible for yourself is totally possible with God. There are many more stories like this that we'll be sharing on our YouTube channel, so keep popping by. At the end of this video, you can find out what platforms Heavenly Deposit is available on and also what stores the DVD is available at. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. In the meantime, stay safe and be blessed.